Hey everybody, Cask coming at you. This is a really interesting story about Sweetgrass Vodka. Sweetgrass Vodka was a up and coming brand of vodka out of the Low Country, specifically Charleston, South Carolina. Started by a man named Jarrod Swagger. Now, Jarrod came up with this idea, I think, somewhere in a tiny little bar called the Dingy in near Charleston. On a cocktail napkin. One of these things always sound great when they come up. The idea was created on a cocktail napkin, but it was in 2019. Sweetgrass Vodka was invented in 2020. They started producing sweetgrass vodka. Sounds interesting. The concept was it was a locally sourced products from the Low Country, using potatoes from a local farmer, to use a Polish recipe that goes back to his wife's grandmother, who was Polish. And I mean, what a great story, right? It's grandmother's recipe. We've got the Polish background. This is made from local potatoes, sweetgrass vodka. I love the name, but wow, what happened to sweetgrass vodka? But before I do that, I want you to look at all these little gold medals that this vodka won. Um, and just remember that little nugget right there. I'll get back to you. Now, Jarrod and his wife, they lived the fantastic life at Mount Pleasant, multi-million-dollar home. They drove a pair of BMWs, $130,000 BMWs. They hung out with A-listers, B-listers. They had a sweet tasting room down there in Charleston where there's sweetgrass vodka. So life was pretty good for Jarrod. But something happened along the way. But before we get into the downfall, it's still going pretty well. He's in total wine. He's made a partnership with a large beverage company, distribution in 200 shelves across the Southeast. Grass Vodka seemed like it was going in the right direction. They had even talked about opening up a distillery down in Charleston. The governor, McMaster here in South Carolina, Governor McMaster, my Governor McMaster was talking highly about Jarrod and his plans and local and everything is good. But that was in 2022. Shortly after, months, maybe a year after, 2023, all of a sudden the financial stuff started going crazy and he's missing credit payments. In comes, in comes Jeremy Renner, right up here. He has done a lot of different movies. The Town, which is one. He did another like a military army movie, but he's known for being an Avenger. Now, I'm wearing a DC Comics, but he is an Avenger. And here he is pictured with Jarrod on the left, and there's Sweetgrass. So he brings Jeremy Renner in to kind of give it some life. But the financial information right now really isn't coming out yet, but he is missing credit payments. Things are going downhill. He signs Jeremy to a contract, but he's got to pay Jeremy. But Jeremy's going to get a big chunk of it as long as Jeremy does these, appearances, posts them on Instagram, boosts about it. I think everybody thought that they're going to make millions, maybe billions. I mean, George Clooney, I don't think hardly ever works anymore because he made a fortune in tequila and Sammy Hagar and all these people making all this money on alcohol. Maybe that's what Jeremy thought. But all he had to do was really do appearances, which, as a Hollywood actor, that's what you do anyway. This is about 2023. But at this point, I don't think that the Jeremy Renner having the VIP concert and bottle signing and his posts on Instagram are doing much for the label. His first payment was delayed, which sent up red flags. Apparently, Jarrod started paying his employees in Apple Cash and PayPal, which is not really the way to do it. But in 2023, going into 2024, all of a sudden payments are starting to be missed. And old Jeremy's like, where's my money? Well, a lot of people started saying that. But things start going downhill fast. I said he missed a payment with Renner. All of a sudden, a photo shoot is canceled with Renner. And Jarrod's having issues with investors because they're not seeing any return at all after 2 years. So the Renner thing is not working. And as you can see here from the Google page, the Sweetgrass Vodka tasting room is now closed because they didn't pay their rent. So that was closed. Things are going downhill fast. Investors want to know where their monies are. Jeremy Renner's not getting paid. He's starting to pull out what's going on with Sweetgrass Vodka. The company was allegedly told by Jarrod, allegedly, that it was worth $26 million with projected annual sales of $40 million for worth for this company, which he couldn't even pay the rent on the tasting room or pay the employees. Where do you think all that money was going? His house, his cars, private planes, parties. Um, that's how you ruin a company. But now Jarrod is facing 4 different lawsuits totaling over $750,000. He has clients, excuse me, investors owed money in the millions of dollars who are wondering where all their money went to. The newspaper, the Post and Courier, said they spoke with 19 different individual investors and only 2 got their money back. Unbelievable. But I think what people got wrapped up into is Jarrod. Jarrod sounds like he was a great salesman. Um, and whether he was telling the truth or not, that'll be up for the courts to decide. But it appears that most people just invested blindly based off of, it's in Total Wine. Jeremy Renner's on board. He's with all these A-listers running around Charleston. He's a new up-and-comer. Like, they got caught up into that. Um, the minimum investment was $150,000, but, one investor who was a physician started asking for financial paperwork and where his investment is, and he couldn't even be provided the basic financial information as an investor, and red flags started going off everywhere. In March of this year, South Carolina ADC board sends him a letter saying he didn't have his liquor liability insurance, but that didn't stop him. I guess on April 4th, he had a party for Bravo's Southern Charm cast to come in, where he footed the whole bill for them to come in and film. Again, trying to have the perception of everything is great, everything is fine, or going to the moon, when in actuality, they were falling faster than Wile E. Coyote up cliffs financially. Then comes the real, you gotta be kidding me, WTF moment. What this is still up. I'll go down here. You can pause to read the story. This is still up on their website. Talking about the local potatoes. The local potato farmer that he mentioned that he buys potatoes from told the Post and Courier they didn't even plant potatoes for the last 2 years and that they never sold any to this person. Come to find out, employees have said to the Post and Courier that they weren't distilling any vodka. What they were doing was buying wholesale vodka from some vodka distiller somewhere, and it was unlabeled, and they would bring it in and they would basically distill it with distilled water. Not distill it. They would water it down because it gave it such a high proof, and they would water it down and then put it into the bottles and bottle it from there. They didn't distill anything. They were buying junk vodka, which goes back to my original picture of all these gold medals that they won. I say junk vodka. I don't know what kind of vodka it was, but it wasn't locally sourced, locally distilled, using local potatoes from a local farmer with his grandmother's recipe. None of this. All of it built on Instagram and these type of things where they were just pushing the lifestyle, but there was nothing behind it. Sweetgrass, I probably still have some bottles out there. I know I have a bottle, but this story is not over. It's going to the courts. Jeremy and his wife are getting sued. Sweetgrass is basically done. There's no tasting room. Their assets are being pulled in by investors. And Jeremy's nowhere. Jeremy's nowhere to be found. Near as Jarrod. So check this story out. The Post and Courier. Grab it, Cask out.